The day where I can stop talking about Rick Wiles is going to be a very good day. I'm going to be incredibly happy when that day comes. But apparently, that's not going to happen. Now, this isn't exactly new, but it was sent to me recently, and I did want to cover it a little bit because this is a thing that I've noticed a lot where Rick is concerned. He seems to always find a way to be one of the most extreme when it comes to his opinions, and not in a good way, not like how it's technically radical to advocate for universal health care in the United States in the current day. Not like radical in that sense. Radical in the sense that, like, this guy just wants mass murder. So let's go ahead and hear it real quick.
Firing squad rule change fast-tracked.
Right. After the election.
After a major shakeup at the Pentagon.
Right.
But it
General Flynn pardoned today.
and it wasn't like this was put out there to make it look obvious, like, hey, look what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It was like back in the back, buried.
On the day before Thanksgiving when nobody's even paying attention to news except people like us. All right,
All
we're
right.
going to...
So why this change, Rick? Why would they fast track this?
I'm not trying to be funny about it, but because they plan to shoot some people.
That would be the only explanation.
They're going to have a bunch of traitors. They're going to line them up against the wall and start shooting them. Because that's what they deserve.
So, according to Rick, it's a good thing to introduce the death penalty again, specifically in the forms of firing squads, so long as it's used to execute traitors, or people that he considers traitors. Now, who does he consider a traitor, though?
That's what the law is.
The Democrats, the news media, if the leftists, if scientists,
If you are a leftist, if you are news media, which Rick Wiles is, by the way, some people seem to have trouble with the definition of media. If you happen to be a scientist, you deserve to be shot.
professors have been working secretly with the Chinese Communist Party, then line them up against the wall and shoot them.
Oh, so it's just if they've been secretly working with the Chinese Communist Party. Now, how would they find out if it's a secret? Now, generally speaking, our government has pretty good ways of figuring this out, right? We've got the FBI, we've got the CIA. We have ways of figuring that out. But does anybody remember Joe McCarthy? Does anybody remember the Red Scare? Does anybody remember that? Because all it took to blacklist people, get them hurt, get them imprisoned, get their lives destroyed, was simply by calling them communists, by just saying they were communists. That's all it took. All it took. I think Rick Wiles fantasizes about the day where he'll be able to do that again, where all he has to do is call somebody a red, and then that's it. That's it. We're done. As soon as he gets that power, he will be fucking ecstatic. But this is the type of person that wants a theocracy at the end of the day. But let's read a little bit of the article in question that was done on this and see if there's anything else that can be garnered from it outside of Rick being a conspiracy theorist who's just super joyful at the thought of people being able to die. So Wiles went on to say that leftist Democrats, media scientists, and professors, that they've been working secretly with the Chinese Communist Party, then you should line them up and shoot them all. That's what you would do to them. All of this is based on an absurdly incorrect but ubiquitous understanding of treason shared by the president. Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that. A lot of this is predicated on the fact that it's based entirely on what Trump considers treasonous, on what a particular person, in this case, Trump, considers to be treason. But let's go ahead and... What does Trump consider treason here? It said, Black Lives Matter leaders state that if U.S. doesn't give us what we want, we'll burn down the system and replace it. This is treason, sedition, and insurrection. Now, while I understand that it could be considered treason to want to not be shot by police officers and instead be able to actually have justice instead of, being killed in the street, I understand that you might consider that personally, treason. But given that it is the duty of the government to take care of its people, should be, in a normative society, I would also say that it's the duty, and in fact, actually, I believe there's a particular founding father that argued this. Here, let's see here. It is the duty to overthrow tyrants. Because I don't know the quote specifically. It is called the right of revolution or the right to rebellion. It's the right or duty of people of a nation to overthrow their government when acts are against their common interest or they threaten the safety of people without cause. Being killed by police officers in the streets, I would say, is definitely a threat to yourself without cause. But Trump has considered everything treason. So the idea that Trump can just sit here and get flabbergastingly angry and say that this is treason, that is treason, whatever is treason, and then immediately put the iron sights on people and just go, because I've labeled you treasonous, you get to die. I think that that's a reach of power he shouldn't have. People like Rick are incredibly excited about Trump having that kind of power. And this is one of the things that makes Rick Wiles kind of a disgusting human being. Because at the end of the day, he's got a boner for this. This is the kind of thing that he just gets off to. To him, the idea that, oh, the Jews are trying to take over the government and we're gonna kill them all, that is the thing that gets his rocks off. Given the video that I did ages ago on him where he was talking about how this was all a Jew coup, to take over the government and take it away from President Trump. Honestly, these are the types of people who should never be given a microphone or power. Unfortunately, he has a microphone, and he has a little bit of power in, like, the stochastic sense. But the quote I was looking at, specifically, is right here from Jefferson. Now, Jefferson was kind of a piece of shit, so please bear that in mind. But when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and the nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form, as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. It is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Now, if systemically a group of you are being killed and profiled, and it is incredibly difficult for you to actually eke out a good and moderate existence compared to your fellow man, the fact that you would say something that a founding father would agree with shouldn't be labeled as something for treason. At that point, it literally is in line with Jefferson's philosophy. You guys are not respecting our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, so we are not going to respect you, because the government only governs with the consent of the governed, or at least that is how it's supposed to be. That's how it should be. I don't understand why someone like Rick would be super happy about this. Why that's something that he would be ecstatic about. Because, let's say that the United States were to do something that he would not agree with. Let's say the United States were to engage in a Islamic theocracy, as an example. Would Rick then say that, oh, no, if anybody's not Islam, or if anybody's not affiliated with Islam, they need to be shot because they're traitors. That's the right thing to do to them. Or would he instead argue in favor of overthrowing the government and fixing it? Which side do you think Rick would be on? It seems to me that Rick is only okay with executions so long as he sees himself on the winning side and not on the other side of the rifle. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I'm seeing here from Rick. And honestly, it's not the last time I'm going to end up covering him, I'm sure, because I thought I would not be covering him again after I did the whole expose video on him in Cycles of Fascism. But apparently here we are, doing it again.